For decades, you've been told that eggs are the gold standard of protein, the perfect food for building and maintaining muscle. But what if I told you that after the age of 60, this perfect protein might be failing you? What if the very food you rely on to stay strong is no longer sending a powerful enough signal to your muscles? The truth is, the rules of muscle maintenance change dramatically as we age, and relying on outdated wisdom could be accelerating the one thing we all fear: the loss of our strength and independence. Imagine your muscles have a volume knob for growth signals. In our youth, that knob is highly sensitive. A little bit of protein turns the volume way up, triggering a robust repair and rebuilding process. But as we enter our 60s, 70s, and 80s, a well-documented physiological phenomenon known as anabolic resistance sets in. It's as if our muscles have become hard of hearing. The same nutritional signal that once worked wonders now barely registers. You're sending the message, but your muscles aren't picking up the call. This isn't a vague theory. It is a hard reality of biochemistry. The volume knob for muscle growth is controlled by a specific amino acid, a molecular switch called leucine. Scientific consensus, supported by a wealth of research in leading journals of nutrition and metabolism, shows that older adults need a much higher dose of leucine in a single meal to flip that switch and trigger what's known as muscle protein synthesis, the fundamental process of rebuilding muscle tissue. The target, the minimum effective dose to get that signal through, is approximately 3 to 4 grams of leucine in one sitting. Now let's critically examine your breakfast. 2 large eggs, the supposed powerhouse of protein, contain only about 1.1 to 1.2 grams of leucine. You are falling drastically short of the required signal strength. You are knocking on the door, but you're not knocking loud enough for your muscles to answer. And what is the consequence when that signal is too weak, meal after meal, day after day? The clinical term is sarcopenia. It is the insidious, age-related loss of muscle mass, strength, and function. It's not just about looking frail. It's about the tangible, frightening realities of daily life. It's the inability to open a stubborn jar, to get up from a comfortable chair without a struggle, to catch yourself before a fall that could change your life forever. Sarcopenia is the gradual erosion of your independence, the slow theft of your physical freedom. And it is happening silently, often accelerated by nutritional strategies that are no longer sufficient for your body's changing needs. But what if there was a simple, incredibly affordable food, likely already in your grocery store, that contains nearly triple the muscle-building signal of eggs in a single serving? A food that not only smashes through that 3-gram leucine threshold, but also works through a unique physiological mechanism to protect and build your muscle for up to 8 hours, even while you sleep. This isn't a new pharmaceutical or an expensive, exotic supplement. It's a humble, everyday food, backed by a surprising amount of clinical research that we are going to dissect today. In this video, we will expose the 3 critical nutritional mistakes that even the most health-conscious seniors are making that sabotage their muscle health. And I will reveal the exact food and the simple, science-backed protocol you can use tonight to turn your body's longest period of breakdown into its most powerful period of repair. Stay with me, because the information in the next 15 minutes could fundamentally change how you approach your health and aging. Welcome. On this channel, our mission is to provide you with clinical-grade information that is both actionable and empowering, grounded in the latest scientific evidence. Today, we are tackling one of the most significant and under-discussed threats to healthy aging: sarcopenia. This condition is often called a silent epidemic because its progression is so gradual. It's the reason why activities that were easy at 55 become challenging at 75. But it is not an inevitable sentence of aging. It is a condition that can be managed and, in many cases, significantly improved with precise nutritional strategies. The central mistake is assuming that the diet that served you well in middle age is adequate for the profound biological challenges of your later years. The rules of the game have changed, and your strategy must change with them. A quick reminder, this video is for informational purposes only and is not a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always consult with your healthcare provider before making any changes to your health regimen. The first and most common mistake is believing that simply eating a high-protein diet is enough. Many of you are diligent. You track your intake, you eat your eggs, your chicken, your fish, but you're measuring the wrong metric. You are focused on the total grams of protein consumed throughout the day, while your body, specifically your muscle tissue, is listening for the strength of a very specific signal within each meal. The concentration of leucine. As we've established, the age-related phenomenon of anabolic resistance means the leucine threshold required to stimulate muscle protein synthesis is significantly elevated in older adults. The research is clear on this point. Studies published in journals like the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition point to a necessary trigger dose of approximately 3 to 4 grams of leucine per meal. Ingesting an amount below this threshold results in a blunted, or in some cases, non-existent muscle-building response. The anabolic machinery of the cell, the very system responsible for repair and growth, remains dormant. Let's look at the data with a clinical eye. 2 large eggs provide about 12 grams of high-quality protein, a respectable number on its own, but they deliver only 1.1 to 1.2 grams of leucine. A standard 3-ounce serving of chicken breast, a cornerstone of many healthy diets, provides a solid 26 grams of protein, but still only about 2 grams of leucine. A cup of plain Greek yogurt, another popular and healthy choice, gives you about 20 grams of protein and around 1.2 grams of leucine. These are all excellent foods, rich in nutrients. However, when viewed through the specific lens of overcoming anabolic resistance in an older adult, they consistently fail to meet the required trigger dose on their own. They are sending a signal, but it's too quiet to be heard. Now, a sharp viewer might raise a valid counterpoint. But eggs have a perfect protein quality score, a DIAS score of 113 and a PDCAAS of 1.0, and you would be absolutely correct. These scoring systems, the digestible indispensable amino acid score and the protein digestibility corrected amino acid score, are the gold standard for measuring a protein's digestibility and its completeness in terms of providing all essential amino acids. But here's the critical nuance that is so often missed in general nutrition advice. A perfect quality score is irrelevant if the dose of the key signaling molecule, leucine, is too low to activate the system in the first place. It is like having a key made of the highest quality, most durable steel, but it's cut in the wrong shape to fit the lock. The quality of the material doesn't matter if it cannot unlock the door. For aging muscle, the leucine content of a meal is the shape of that key. The second critical mistake is treating sleep as a passive, dormant state. From a metabolic perspective, your 7 to 8 hours of sleep is the longest fasting period of your entire day. During this extended time without nutritional intake, your body requires a constant supply of amino acids for essential functions, from immune cell production to tissue repair. Without an external supply from food, it turns inward. Your body can enter a catabolic state, breaking down its own muscle tissue to harvest the amino acids it needs. You are, quite literally, losing precious muscle while you sleep. This overnight catabolic window can undo much of the hard work you put in during the day. The solution to this metabolic challenge is to provide your body with a slow, sustained-release protein source before bed. This is where the specific type of protein becomes paramount. Most dietary proteins, like whey found in some dairy products or the proteins in eggs, meat, and fish, are known as fast-acting. They are digested relatively quickly, providing a rapid spike in blood amino acid levels. But there is another major class of protein called casein, which behaves very differently. When casein enters the acidic environment of the stomach, it forms a gel-like substance, or clot, which digests very slowly. This unique property allows it to release its amino acids into the bloodstream at a slow, steady trickle for up to 7 or 8 hours. Multiple clinical trials have demonstrated this powerful effect. A landmark study published in Medicine and Science in Sports and Exercise had participants consume 40 grams of casein protein 30 minutes before sleep. The researchers found that this pre-sleep protein was effectively digested and absorbed throughout the night, resulting in a sustained increase in circulating amino acids. This led to a whole-body protein synthesis rate that was approximately 22% higher overnight compared to a placebo group. This strategy effectively turns the catabolic fasting window into an anabolic rebuilding opportunity. Interestingly, this is not a new discovery. The whole food we're leading up to, which is predominantly casein protein, was a staple of the golden era of bodybuilding in the 1970s, precisely for this pre-sleep, muscle-sparing reason. However, to the general public, it was marketed almost exclusively as a low-fat diet food for lunchtime. It became the centerpiece of the ubiquitous diet plate, often served with a canned peach or a slice of tomato. Its most powerful and scientifically validated application as an overnight muscle protector for preventing age-related decline was completely lost in the noise of diet culture. We have been using this powerful tool at the wrong time of day, for the wrong reason, for over 50 years. The third mistake is actively avoiding the very category of food that provides the most potent solution to both of these problems, often due to outdated or misinformed fears about dairy. Pervasive myths about dairy causing bone loss, being universally high-fat, or being inherently inflammatory can cause health-conscious individuals to needlessly restrict their options. However, the clinical evidence often tells a very different and more nuanced story. Let's address these myths head-on with data. First is the myth that dairy is bad for your bones. The scientific reality is that the opposite is often true. Age-related bone loss, or osteoporosis, is a major health concern, and adequate calcium intake is a cornerstone of prevention. Dairy products are the single most bioavailable source of calcium in the human diet. A single glass of milk contains about 300 milligrams of calcium, whereas to get a similar amount from a non-dairy source like spinach, you would need to consume 8 cups, and even then, compounds in the spinach called oxalates would limit its absorption. The second common myth is that dairy is too high in fat. This is a gross generalization that ignores the vast array of products available. While full-fat cheeses can be high in saturated fat, low-fat and non-fat dairy options, including milk, yogurt, and the specific food we're discussing, are widely available in every supermarket. These products provide excellent sources of high-quality protein without an excessive fat load. This can lead to digestive discomfort. However, this does not mean all dairy must be avoided. Fermented dairy products, such as yogurt and many cheeses, have much of their lactose broken down by bacteria during processing and are often well tolerated. Furthermore, the modern food industry has responded to this need, and lactose-free versions of milk and our target food are now commonplace and easily accessible. By systematically debunking these common misconceptions, we can remove the unnecessary barriers that may prevent individuals from utilizing one of the most effective nutritional tools for muscle preservation. We've just deconstructed the deep science of why conventional protein advice may be failing you as you age. If you're finding this level of detailed, evidence-based analysis valuable for your health journey, please take a brief moment to click the like button and subscribe to the channel. It's a small action that signals to us that this in-depth content is what you want to see, and it helps us continue to produce analysis that cuts through the nutritional noise. Now let's move to the climax, the specific food and the simple protocol that puts all of this science into powerful daily practice. So what is this inexpensive, leucine-packed, slow-digesting powerhouse that addresses the unique metabolic needs of aging muscle? It is, of course, low-fat cottage cheese. Now let's connect all the scientific dots we've laid out. 1 cup of 1% or 2% cottage cheese contains, on average, a staggering 2.8 grams of leucine. This single serving comfortably approaches and in some cases surpasses the 3-gram anabolic threshold that your 2 eggs, your serving of chicken, and your cup of Greek yogurt were consistently failing to meet. This dose sends the loud, clear, unambiguous signal your muscles need to initiate the process of growth and repair. It overcomes the hard-of-hearing state of anabolic resistance. But the power of cottage cheese doesn't stop there. It simultaneously solves the second critical problem. Approximately 80% of the protein in cottage cheese is casein protein. This is the slow-release protein we discussed in detail. It's the protein that forms a gel in the stomach and provides a sustained, steady trickle of amino acids into your system all night long. This actively fights muscle breakdown and fuels muscle protein synthesis while you sleep, an effect robustly demonstrated in the pre-sleep protein studies we examined. The protocol is therefore remarkably simple and profoundly effective. Consume 1 cup of low-fat cottage cheese approximately 30 to 60 minutes before you go to bed. That is the core intervention. This single habit addresses the 2 largest obstacles to muscle maintenance after the age of 60. It meets the elevated leucine threshold for anabolic signaling, and it transforms the 8-hour overnight catabolic window into an anabolic one. Now let's address the final practical objections. A common and valid concern with cottage cheese is its sodium content. For individuals monitoring blood pressure, this is a non-negotiable point. However, the food market has responded to this concern. Most major brands now offer low-sodium or no-salt-added versions. A quick check of the nutrition label is all that's required to mitigate this concern entirely. The second barrier for many is simply the taste or texture. If you find plain cottage cheese unappealing, remember its versatility. It can be a blank canvas. Blend it into a smoothie with a few berries and a splash of water or milk to create a creamy, high-protein base. Mix in a spoonful of chopped nuts or seeds for added texture and healthy fats. Add a dash of cinnamon or a drop of vanilla extract. The goal is to ingest the protein. The delivery method can and should be adapted to your personal preference. And finally, let's talk about the cost, the cheap part of the title. This isn't just about the price on the container. It's about the cost to get the biological job done. It is about the cost per effective anabolic dose. To get the same muscle-triggering 2.8 grams of leucine from large eggs, you would need to consume nearly 5 of them. A quick comparison of the cost of 1 cup of cottage cheese versus 5 large eggs in your local supermarket will almost always reveal that cottage cheese is the more economical choice for achieving the actual biological effect we are after. You are getting more anabolic bang for your buck, making this strategy not only effective but also highly sustainable. So let's synthesize this information into a clear, coherent strategy. This is not about demonizing eggs or other quality proteins. It is about understanding the specific metabolic shifts that occur with age and targeting them with clinical precision. The strategy is twofold. First, ensure your main meals throughout the day are rich in leucine to consistently overcome anabolic resistance. Second, and most critically, add a pre-sleep serving of slow-digesting casein protein, with low-sodium cottage cheese being the most effective and accessible whole food option. To transform your overnight fast from a period of muscle breakdown into a period of muscle regeneration. The message today is one of profound empowerment. The gradual loss of strength is not a passive sentence you must simply accept. Your body, even at 70, 80, or 90, retains the incredible capacity to adapt and rebuild. It has not forgotten how to build muscle. It is simply waiting for a clearer, louder, and more sustained signal from you. You have the power to provide that signal starting tonight. You have the power to fight for every ounce of your strength, your mobility, and your independence. My question to you is this. Based on the science we've discussed today, what is one simple way you could incorporate a high-leucine, slow-protein source like cottage cheese into your evening routine to make it enjoyable and sustainable? Share your specific plan or recipe idea in the comments below to inspire others in this community. Thank you for investing your time today in understanding the deep science of muscle preservation. Remember, knowledge is powerful, but only when applied consistently. Stay informed and proactive about your health optimization. Now, if you found this video on protein timing helpful, the next crucial step is understanding how to pair it with the right kind of exercise for maximum effect. I highly recommend you watch the video appearing on your screen right now. It breaks down the most effective resistance training exercises for seniors that can be done safely at home, building directly on the nutritional foundation we've established today. We look forward to seeing you in the next video.